Welcome back. It is your Feel Good Breakfast Show. It's time for us to spend some time in the kitchen. Owner of Pure Good Food, Shannon Smuts, joins us to get us inspired for the brand new year. Money can be tight in January, and we also start shifting our focus to getting into healthier habits. Shannon has some great tips on how to do just that. And Shannon, it's so great to have you here this morning.
Thank you. So nice to be back.
So we had Lucia Dramat on the show, and she has this really good life cues, and it's all about affirmations. So I thought, why not start this one off before we unpack what we will be whipping up in the kitchen? What does yours say?
What a great one, because it really is what I'm leading into 2024 with. And it says, I am oozing with confidence.
Oh, Graham had one similar to that. I am oozing with confidence. What a winner. I think that is a good little affirmation for the rest of the day and the year. Okay. So what are we making today?
So today we're doing something that I am very passionate about, which is sustainable cooking, and teaching people that when you get a vegetable, you don't have to just chop everything off and use the one part that you are comfortable with.
Yeah.
We're going to be doing 3 recipes using the entire vegetable root to shoot, including these parts that most people throw in the bin.
Oh, well, listen, this is incredible. So where are we going to start?
So we're going to start off with the base. We make a really nice, beautifully coloured beetroot pancake. And with that, we're going to be using the beetroot juice, which most people are definitely getting into. Coming summer now, this is where you finished your indulgence over the festive season and you want to get going with, you know, cleansing and doing a bit of like fasting, a little bit of like good stuff to boost the kickstart the health for the year.
The festive is done, the overindulging is done. I have to tell you, the first time I ever tried making my own beetroot juice, I don't think I cleaned it properly, and it tasted, I bought a juicer and I was like, brand new year, put the beetroot in, and it tasted like I put a hand of sand with my juice. It was very earthy.
The earth. Beetroot is a very earthy tasting vegetable. Definitely important to make sure you clean it, especially the leaves, which you should throw in when you're making your juice. A lot of people throw it away, but there are so many good healthy benefits from consuming the juice, and it's got really good fibre, which help you cleanse.
Okay.
Plants matter. People always think plants, you know, you've got different types of food and different things are different building blocks. Plants in particular are cleansing products, and so it's good to try and eat everything from the tip to the shoot so that you can cleanse the body of what you need to and start rebuilding.
Okay.
So we're just adding all our dry ingredients into one bowl. We've got some rice flour here. We're doing a gluten-free version, but you can do it with regular flour if you want. It is January. Times are tough.
Whatever you have in the cupboard.
Whatever you have in the cupboard. We've got our dry ingredients here. We've got a bit of salt and we've got a little bit of sugar as well. You can omit the sugar if you need. You don't have to. But you don't want to forget about the salt, and you definitely don't want to forget about the baking powder. So we just combine all those dry ingredients, and we're going to mix it with our beetroot juice. Now, once you've made your beetroot juice, you're going to have your pulp that shoots out your juicing machine. Don't throw that away. Because you're going to be using that as well. So I'm going to
We're using that later.
We're using that later. So I'm going to give you this jar to nice and stir around. Actually, I need an egg.
Okay, I'll grab an egg for you from the fridge while we give our batter a good stir.
So we're just going to combine our dry ingredients with our beetroot juice, and you'll see that'll start forming like a little bit of a paste. It's also dependent on what type of flour you're going to be using as a gluten-free option. A lot of people think you just swap out flours for gluten-free and not. You have to be very careful. Coconut flour is very absorbent of moisture. So you want to make sure that you've got a good either gluten-free flour mix, or you are, you know, making sure that you are adding a little bit more liquid if you've got a stiffer flour. So you can keep giving that a mix. In another bowl, we're going to just add our 1 egg. Now, a nice little tip here is if you want really fluffy, high-stack pancakes, separate your eggs and whisk up your
the egg whites.
Your egg whites, and that'll give you a really nice fluffy batter that you can fold in. But today we're not going to be doing that.
We're going to keep it plain and simple. Now, my next question is, these beetroot pancakes, this is the first of 3 recipes you're showing us. Is this ideal for breakfast, lunch, dinner, snack, dessert?
So what's nice about this recipe is I'm going to show you that you can make... We're going to be doing a little bit of a breakfast run.
Okay.
When we plate everything up and we bring them all together, it's nice to add 2 poached eggs and do it for breakfast. But we're going to be doing something really fun with the juice pulp, and that makes it into something for lunch, and also a really nice, easy way to have a light dinner as well if you want. So super versatile. I think January is the month where you need to be able to chop and change and adjust, because you kind of like... you know,
you're scrambling
you're
at the end of the day.
at the end of the month. You're using whatever you've got in your pantry. You want to make sure you're using everything. So this is really nice to be able to adapt as you need.
Perfect.
I need a whisk.
I'll grab a whisk for you. There you go.
Thank you so much. Now, the second part here, we're just whisking up we've used almond milk. You can use regular milk if you want. I really want to showcase that you can make this as a vegan recipe for those plant-based eaters out there as well.
But then what do you do with the egg? How do you replace the egg if we are using almond milk?
So we can replace the egg in its entirely altogether and leave it out. We've added in here, it just adds a little bit, it gives your pancake a little bit more of like a spongy cake-like texture. You can leave the egg out altogether, or you can replace it with an egg alternative, which for me, I like to use flax egg or chia egg. So you take a tablespoon of chia seeds or flax seeds, leave them in water for a bit, and it forms like a nice gooey binding agent that then you can add in and use to replace
your egg. Okay.
So we've got this mixture now, and what I'm going to do is slowly add it here, and you keep stirring. Great team effort. It's nice to go a little bit at a time so that you mix it in nicely and you don't get lots of clumps, making you do all the hard work.
It's okay. This is my gym for the day.
Nice, nice.
Oh, this is a beautiful consistency. I love this colour.
The colour is beautiful, and people tend to stay away from beetroots, not understanding how healthy they really are. They contain something called nitrates, which really help the body with oxygen usage. So long distance running, exercising, brain power, all of these things, beetroot can be a really great help to that. And also blood health.
I'm a lover of beetroot. We always had it in the home. We always had the preserved one, you know, where it's in the vinegar. And then as I got older, I realized how beautiful beetroot is on its own when you just cook it.
Yeah.
I got a big surprise when I just had beetroot once and you go to the bathroom, it's pink.
Yeah, and you know that's actually hereditary. So not all people have that. Yeah, if it's not everybody can see the beetroot when it leaves our system. But it is a rather nerve-wracking, scary moment when it first happens, and you're like, but it's pretty normal. Beetroot comes.
No idea.
Beetroot's got a big, nice, bright red colour.
It is a beautiful colour.
It's a beautiful
So I'm heating up our pan. I know personally from experience the first pancake's always a flop.
First pancake's always a flop. And
it's supposed to be a flop, so you can eat it and then the next one you know is going to be perfect.
Yeah, and we can see our batter's quite a little bit watery, which we'll see how it goes on the pan. It's not all, we've got the egg in there, so we know it is going to set. But if you do find that your mixture comes up a little bit more watery, you don't really know what you're going to get when it comes to juicing beetroots and other root vegetables. Some of them are more liquidy, some of them produce more juice. You can just add a little bit more flour to your mix, and it'll give you a stiffer batter. But we're going to go with this one and see how we go.
Let's go and see how it turns out. Our pan is nice and hot.
Let's always go with a little first flopper, and you can just slowly add.
So it spreads evenly.
Yeah.
There we go. I have a feeling this one might actually not flop.
It doesn't look too bad. I think it's looking quite good.
The pan is nice and hot. How hot do we want it?
No, I think you just want
a small flame.
Small flame. Let's not smoke out everywhere that we've got here. Always helps to have a little bowl on hand when you're working with beetroot so that you don't stain your beautiful countertops and your own clothes as well. Make sure you're wearing an apron. But it'll take a little time, and what you want to look for is the bubbles bubbling on the top.
Okay.
And you know it's ready to flip.
Okay. I'm going to keep an eye on this. Going from the pancakes, what is our next recipe where we involve the beetroot?
Right. Now, so we spoke about the fact that you don't want to be getting rid of your beetroot pulp that's coming out of your juice. So we're going to move. I'm going to flip you around to the side.
I'll keep an eye on this.
You keep an eye over there, and we can look here what we've got. And this is our beautiful juice pulp that's come from juicing the beetroot. Now, not everybody's got juicers at home.
Okay.
What's a really nice way, if you've got a food processor or a NutriBullet, you can put you can cut up your raw veggies fine, mix it with about a cup of water and blitz it like that, and then strain it out to get like a raw juice from veggies, which a lot of people don't know. They think you have to invest in expensive juices. Really not the case. Once you've squeezed out the liquid, or if you've just got a normal juicer, you're going to have this really nice pulp, and that you can add straight to your bowl, because we're going to blend the rest of the recipes into here, and we'll use this. We'll add it as we go to here so that we're not left with a wet mixture.
So we are using the pulp, or what are we about to make?
Thank you for reminding me.
I'm so intrigued to find out how we're going to use beetroot 3 ways.
So what we're going to make with this is a delicious beetroot falafel.
Ooh.
Now, you're not limited to beetroot when you make this. Carrot pulp also makes a really nice falafel mix, and including any other kind of rooty vegetables that you're putting through your machine, spinach, celery, any other juices that you want to do, you can keep that aside and you can add it to your falafel. Not only does it create a really nice texture, but you're extending them and you're using some what would normally be considered waste.
Yes.
And you're going to be making 10 to 15 more falafel per batch than you would if you just made the normal one.
Zero wastage. If I may just bring your attention to our beautiful pancake, it did not flop.
Not even a little bit of a flop.
Not a flop at all. So here you go. First recipe done with our beetroot. We used the incredible juice, and here is a beautiful pancake.
Fantastic. Well done. You are a fantastic sous chef.
I like being a sous chef. Less pressure.
Right, so what we're going to do, falafel's really easy, and it's also a really fun way to get kids into eating vegetables.
Ah, because you hide it.
Because you hide it. I've got 2 little ones, and falafel balls feature quite often on the menu because it's a nice way that I can sneak in a lot of grated veg if you want the juice pulp, which is great, nice form of fibre. And then what we're adding here is some cumin and some spices.
Okay. Is that what spices are these at the moment?
This here we've got this is cumin and black pepper.
Okay.
And we've thrown in a little bit of garam masala. This is some black pepper that I'm throwing in there as well. And again, you can get really creative with how you want to flavor it yourself. If you want to go with the Middle Eastern flavors, you want to bring in something else. I'm a very big fan of cooking as you feel. Don't always have to follow the recipes.
You don't have to stick to the recipe. See, someone like myself that's a bit more nervous in the kitchen, I tend to need a recipe. And then once I've aced the recipe, I'll be like, okay, I'm going to try now play with it.
Now you feel confident.
Like I need to be, yeah,
first. Remember the affirmation, oozing with confidence. If I can leave people oozing with confidence in the kitchen after this to experiment with what they've got left over in the fridge, I'll be happy. So,
might surprise you.
What we've got in here is some herbs, the spices, just the drained chickpeas, which you can buy just out of the can.
Yep.
If you've got dried chickpeas at home, it's also nice to use. You can soak them the night before and cook them on the stove. And then some sunflower seeds. Again, you can swap them out with any seeds that you've got in the cupboard, pumpkin seeds, sesame seeds, flax seeds, anything will do. It's just going to add the nice coarse texture. Pop them in our NutriBullet. You can also use a stick blender.
And just give it a good blend.
Give it a good blend. You're going to see it's quite coarse.
Okay. And then what texture are we looking for? Are we looking for something similar to the pulp from the leftover from the beetroot?
This
a
again,
sticky texture?
You kind of want a sticky texture. It's also very dependent on you as yourself. I like my falafel quite chunky. I like it to have a little bit of texture to it and not be so like mushy, like I'm eating like a fried cake.
I hear you.
So it's up to you and whatever you feel.
I'll grab a little
spoon for me there. I'm just getting my fingers involved.
No, that's the beauty of cooking.
I'm one of those chefs. If I'm going to be in the kitchen, I'm going to be covered in ingredients, most likely from head to toe. Now, you could add your beetroot pulp in here and just get it all done together. That is totally fine. I wanted to make sure that I was happy with the consistency and that it wasn't going to be too dry or too wet. If it does get a bit too dry or too wet, very easy to just add again, either a little bit more liquid, a little bit more flour.
And you're getting those beautiful aromas coming from the cumin. I can smell it.
Now, you can see I've chosen to do my mixture quite coarse.
Okay.
There's still some whole seeds in there. You can still see some chunks of the chickpeas, but that's how I like them.
Okay.
Now, a little trick, which I learned from a friend of mine, is to always oil your hands first.
Have oily hands when you work with your falafel balls.
Yeah, because you're going to be able to get your mixture without getting all that stuff on.
You don't
now,
have to
let's get our pan on.
It is on. I can put it on a higher heat for us, just to make sure.
You want to check first, always. You don't want to just start throwing in. So always take a tiny, small little piece of your liquid, whatever you're doing. Drop it in and see.
It's starting to bubble.
Starting to bubble. What you want to see is you want to see it lift to the surface, and then you know that we're ready, which we are almost there. So now, how do you feel about getting your
hands dirty? I am ready for it. I am here for the recipe. So we just start off with a little bit of oil.
And we can just get some balls rolled.
Are you making tiny balls? I thought when you said you like your falafels, or was it more of the texture?
When I said I like my falafel balls chunkier, I mean, it's like in the texture, not size. In the size. Sometimes you just want small balls, and that's also okay.
There we go. I made a big
Beautiful.
one.
Yours was bigger than mine, but we all have our own preferences, so that's fine. I'll do another big one as well, so it's not lonely there. But very easy. And again, this recipe that we've done now is completely plant-based. It's friendly for vegans. Utilizing all those dry ingredients that you've got in the fridge. You can even swap out using chickpeas for beans.
Ah,
So many people have that random, tin of beans sitting at the back of the cupboard.
great point.
Great way to use them up. White beans work, and even things like lentils, split peas, all the dry products that are usually a little bit cheaper and easier to have in the cupboard.
Oh, I love that. Okay.
I think we're ready.
Are we ready? We're
Right.
ready. We're going to give this a little shallow fry.
So we've got our nice little falafel balls here. Now we've got here just some normal vegetable oil. You don't want to be doing this in olive oil. You don't want to be high frying
Olive
in
oil.
olive oil. It's for shallow frying or just sauteing. You don't really want to heat that up. My preference would always be coconut oil.
Okay.
If you can get. Otherwise, you can just get a nice clean vegetable oil.
Oh, fantastic. So we're going to let these falafel balls cook. What is next on our 3-step journey that we are on?
So our final part of this amazing dish is going to be the part that most people throw in the bin. So you can really kind of consider this as a free recipe that you're using that you don't really need to pay for, and that's going to be the beetroot green leaves.
So we have our beet falafel balls going. Our last one, so that we can say we've now fully used the beetroot 3 ways.
We're going to go ahead and we're going to use that part of the beetroot that we always throw away, which is the leaves. So I'm going to grab over here. So this is the part that we normally throw in the bin. And what we're going to do is chop them up really nice and fine. You can also chop them up coarsely if you want. Make sure that you're using the stems as well. Gives you that really beautiful pop of color.
Okay.
And this is really the most simple of all 3 of the recipes. You're going to throw in your onions.
Give it a beautiful saute.
Give it a saute, and you can get really creative here if you want. We've chosen to stick with the Middle Eastern feel, and we're going to throw in some cumin and a little bit of garam masala, and keep that that spice flavor profile the same across the board. So you just sweat those down. You can see your onions are getting nice and translucent.
And that's what we want. I love the aromas coming from this dish. I'm still keeping an eye on our falafels. They are still being shallow fried.
Beautiful.
I love that we are using the leaves of the beetroot. I mean, I've learned something new now today, that when you juice your beetroot, don't discard the leaves, don't discard the leftover pulp. This is incredible.
So your beet leaves are pretty much as highly nutritious as buying spinach. Everybody knows how important it is to have spinach. They're also really high in iron, which most of us are lacking in our diets, and especially after the new year and all that, you really want to be focusing on getting your iron levels up. So we've chopped them nice and fine here. You can see the little purple stems are still in there. You can do them as coarsely as you want. You can have big leaves if you want. It really doesn't matter. It's up to you. Cook how you feel and make sure that you're just having fun, which is the biggest lesson here. You can smell all those flavors. Now, that's all it really needs.
Okay,
We
just a
can turn
little.
this down.
It's not a big fry. It's just a little. You just zhing it up.
It's a little saute. You're just releasing those flavors and you're softening the leaves themselves. And then we're going to get ready to put it together so we can have one delicious breakfast or lunch or brunch plate.
Do you think our falafels are ready? Can I take them out for
I
you?
definitely think you can pop them out and put them on a paper towel to just drain that oil off.
Perfect.
Whilst you're doing that, I'm going to get our pancakes. Now, I think we can do one or 2 pancakes here. If you're going to do a pancake split, we're going to get really creative. And let's do we've got some really nice Greek yogurt here. You can use some coconut yogurt if you want as well, or even hummus if you want to keep it plant-based. So we've got some nice yogurt at the base. I would add a little bit of pesto as well. We've gone with some basil pesto here, really going to offset those Middle Eastern flavors nicely. Then we add our second pancake. Again, second round with the yogurt. Just give it that beautiful, clean pop of white on the pink. Looks so beautiful.
There we go.
And then we just liberally add some of the basil pesto and smear that around.
Okay, now I see how we're bringing it all together. We're using our pancakes, we're finishing it off, we'll serve with our falafels. Oh, this is looking beautiful.
Stunning. So now let's get another spoon and grab some of this beautiful sauteed greens that we've got here. And you can really see like that color, the blue, the green, and going again next to the bright little pop of purple of the stems. And you have that as your base. This is also really nice if you want to do something that's grain-free or carb-free. You can literally just use the greens as a base for your recipe. Now we've got our beautiful falafel balls, which I'll allow you to place.
I'll just place these little ones here.
Gorgeous.
There we go. We'll just do 3 for now.
Perfect.
There we go.
Beautiful plating, by the way. I can see
Thank
you've
you.
got experience
I feel
here.
like in this studio environment, I always learn a thing or two.
Always nice to just add a little bit of olive oil on top as well, so you can get some.
Oh, look at that.
There, and you can just add a little extra sprinkle over there. You can grab some black pepper's also nice.
We'll
to sprinkle
grab
on.
black pepper for
and then
you. Fine.
what you've got here is just a really nice plant-based breakfast that you can do for people. And if you want, which I'm always a big fan and proponent of, eggs. They are such a great superfood. You can just add on what we've done here is 2 poached eggs on top. Now you've got the iron, you've got the beetroot, you've got the leaves, you've got the fibre, you've got the nitrates, you've got the vitamins, you've got so much good stuff all together as a meal.
Oh, Shannon, this is amazing. Thank you so much for showing us this incredible recipe, but also how to use beetroot from, like you said, the top till the bottom. It is unbelievable that there is absolutely no wastage with this recipe. So if you want to get your hands on this full recipe of all 3 things we've made, make sure you head online onto expressoshow.com.